Hello, I'm Tsem. I'm a pre-public UGC creator, so I got into the UGC program when that was a thing, and now that UGC is either public now or going to be public soon, I figured I'd show you the entire process of uploading a UGC accessory from start to finish, just to make it easier of a process for those of you just getting into it. I know it's a very intimidating thing to start, so I just wanted to make sure that this is as smooth of a transition as possible. So the first thing that I did in Studio is I deleted the spawn area even though you don't need to, and then just added a bunch of rigs. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add another, so under the avatar tab at the top I'm going to go to rig builder, R15, and then I'm going to make a masculine block avatar rig, which is just our basic block rig. Then I'm going to change this position to 0, 0, 0. Then change the pivot offset to 0, 0, 0. And then click off and back on to give the actual position a chance to reset. And then change that to 0, 0, 0 one more time. And there we go. We have a rig in the center of the base plate. And we'll use this. We'll use this in Blender. So in order to get from Studio to Blender, you're going to right click, and mine doesn't show, but you should have a menu pop up, and then all the way at the bottom it's going to say export selection. You click that, you give it a name, you choose where you want to store it, and you store it there. Now we're going to go over to Blender. Okay, so once you're in Blender, you're going to select everything and then just delete it. Now up here you want to go to File, Import, wavefront.obj. Go to that same drive and look up whatever you named your UGC rig. Select it and then press import obj, and it should give you something right in the middle. And then up here I like to go to this so that I know which way is facing forward, which way is facing back. Basically this just shows you the object textures. If your rig spawns somewhere over here, that means you didn't center it, and you can fix that by set origin, geometry to origin, but you'll run into a couple of problems when fitting, so I just redo those first steps. And I'm just going to show you how to make a simple top hat. I'm going to add a circle. I'm not even going to care about that. Then I'm going to press tab, move this up. So GZ to move up. Make sure you press Z after pressing G so that it's locked. Scale this to where you want. E to extrude. Have mine like that. I'm actually going to scale this down a little bit. And I just pressed scale Shift Z. I'm going to press I to insert faces. E to extrude for a top part. I'm going to go to this, and I'm going to loop cut this. I'm going to press G then Z to move it down. Command B to bevel, or Control B, depending on what kind of computer you're using. Drag it out until you have a band. E, S, Shift Z to extrude and scale on all axes except for the Z axis. I'm actually gonna scale this in a little bit. Scale all this in. And from there, I'm just gonna bevel that top, make it look more completed. And there's our basic top hat. From there, it's gonna look kind of ugly, so you're gonna press right click, press shade smooth, and it looks even uglier now. So you're gonna go to this triangle by the object on this side, normals, auto smooth, and there you go. Now you have an automatically smooth hat. And then to texture, you can just import a gradient color palette, which is what I'd recommend for those who are just starting. Make this texture an image texture with that, which you just do by press add new texture, change this to image texture, and then make this whatever color palette gradient you're using. But for those who don't have it, I'm going to show you what I do. Or actually, once you have that in, for those of you who are using that, here's how you'll project. I'm holding shift and then selecting option to loop select all of those, and then if it's just a regular face, I'm only holding shift. Then I'm pressing 1 on my number pad or this, and then I think it's 4. No. The key next to your numbers, and then 7. I'm gonna press U and project from view. Then you drag this onto your gradient thing wherever you liked. Wherever you like, you can press SX to scale this way, SY to scale this way. Then you just do the same thing with that. For those of us who aren't doing that, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go down here, and we're going to make 2 textures. Set this one to the first color that you'd like your top hat to be. Set this one to the second color you'd like your top hat to be. Go in here, hold shift option, select your band. Make sure you have the second color selected here, and then press assign. And there you go. Now it's assigned. And then you'll want to mark a seam, which can be done by pressing 2 to go into edge select mode. Holding option to loop select and selecting that. Hold shift option to loop select that bottom face and the top face, and then anywhere where it changes from blue to green here. Then I'm going to press U, mark seam, then UV editing. I'm going to select everything, AU unwrap, and then I'm going to press 3 to go into face select. Make sure all these things are together and that all those are together, which it looks like it is, so I don't have to do anything there. I'm going to go back to layout, or not layout, I'm going to go to UV editing and go up to this top camera, which is render properties. I'm going to change the render properties from EV to cycles. Go down to bake, and before we bake, it's good to just have that open. Now you want to make a new image. Title it whatever you want. Now you have an image, and then if you did just make a solid color, here you're going to add an image texture. Shift A to add, search, and then just type in image texture. It should show up. Change the image to your blue-green. Go from material 1 to material 2, do the same thing. Then go back to material 1 so that this part's all of that. And then once you have that, you can just press bake, or no, don't do that. That was a bad idea, and you'll see why when it bakes. Actually, I'm just going to cancel it. As you can see, it's all black. Go to diffuse, make sure only color is selected. And then I like to change this margin to 1000, just so that everything's filled in. Then you just press bake. Once that's done, you'll go to image, save as, and then you'll title it whatever you want, choose a drive, and save it to there. After that, you'll do one more thing to check to make sure that your item's going to be alright in Studio, and then you can export it. And that one thing is checking your face orientation. As you can see here, my item is completely red. How did that happen? Nobody really knows. Sometimes modeling techniques, sometimes it just happens. So you select it all, you press Alt-N, flip. If it's blue, you don't have to do anything. If only parts are red, only select the red parts. Once that's done, you can close out of face orientation and then export this wavefront.obj. There's going to be an option on the side that says selection only. Make sure you press selection only, and then you title it Mine's being a little bit annoying. That's fine. You title it, you press export OBJ. And then once that's done, you can go back to Studio. Very quickly add a mesh part. So I just like to right click, insert object, look up mesh part. It should just show up. And then where it says mesh ID, there's a little folder next to it. You click that. You look up whatever you named your item. You open that. And then if it'll say your mesh contains location data. Would you like to move your mesh to the given location? You should press yes. And it's automatically aligned for you. However, you'll notice it doesn't have its texture. So in order to fix that, you're going to go to create.roblox.com, or on Roblox, you can just press this create tab at the top. Either or works. Go to development items, go to decals, select upload asset. Then once you have whatever you named your image as on here, you can just press upload. Then once that's done, copy asset ID. Then you'll want to go back to Studio. Then once you're back in Studio, select your mesh part, go to texture ID, and then paste your texture, and it should show up something like this. Then you'll want to go to the asset creator plugin that you hopefully have downloaded. I left a note at the beginning to do that. If you don't download it, save this, close out, download it, and reopen it. It should be installed. Select your mesh part as the accessory. Select this. Select the rig as your whatever it's called. And then select what kind of attachment you want. Classic proportions, and then you'll press next. Then your item's up here. And test it, duplicate it first. Then drag it into a few different rigs. If it lines up, then that means you did it right. If it didn't, then try realigning it with your mesh. Realigning it with your rig in Studio, and then use the plugin again. So that looks good. And then you want to delete this. If you try to upload this without it, it's not going to work, and I'll show you that in a second. So if you just tried to upload this, I know it's going to give me an error about this, so I'm going to delete that first just to show you the big error it gives you. And if you go save to Roblox, oh, I forgot to make the thumbnail, but I'll show you that in a second. Select hat, and then it'll give you this error. So that's why you have to duplicate it first. But for this, we're going to want to make a thumbnail, and you can go to your UGC Makers Kit. Select make thumbnail. Just align it the way that you want to. And then you can hold Command or Control depending on what computer you use to change the lighting. Select Finish when you're done. And then the other thing you want to do is toggle bounds. Make sure that your item fits within this. Otherwise you won't be able to upload it. But if you made a top hat like how I did, you should be fine. Then you'll right click, save to Roblox. Select what kind of accessory you want it to be. Then I'll show you this. Name it. Write a description. Then you'll give it tags. Usually you'll want things that aren't in the title to use. So like if I put 1800s, if I put stylish, if I put vintage, we'll do abstract and head, because it's a hat that goes on your head. For creator, just if you want to be uploaded to your profile, select me. If you want to be uploaded to a group, you should see all those there. And when you're done, click this, and it'll upload. I do not want to upload this though. Once it's uploaded, you want to go to Roblox. I like to go through my browser just because that makes everything easier for me. Then you'll go to your inventory. If it's not a hat, you'll go to here, this drop down menu, select the type of accessory it is, and it should show up there. If it didn't, first check the other types, make sure you didn't upload it as the wrong type. If you still can't find it, go to select your amount of Robux and go to purchases, and if you see a upload fee purchase, that means that it did go through and it either didn't go to your inventory immediately or you need to refresh a couple things. If that doesn't show up, that means it didn't quite fully upload in Studio yet. Once it shows up here, it'll give you the the declined sort of icon thing. However, it's probably not declined. You'll want to go over to your creator dashboard, select avatar items, and under accessories, select the type of accessory it is, and it'll show the pending icon there. Once it's done pending, you should see the thumbnail, and under your avatar editor, I'm just going to test this with an item that I uploaded yesterday. You'll want to select that, make sure it lines up properly before you put it on sale. And if it does, that's great. You'll then want to go to the item, click these three dots on the side, configure, and then you can put it for sale. If you want it to be limited, you can choose a price and quantity, and then you just press save changes and it should upload. The thing about limiteds is you can only upload one limited every 24 hours. So if you're uploading a lot, that might not be the choice for you. But once you have all that done, then you should be good to go. And good luck with uploading UGC. I hope it goes well for you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. You can ask through comments. I have a bunch of socials linked on my Roblox profile, which is tsem. But if that's everything, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.